What's up, guys? It's Kictor, and the baby chapter. The Is there actually a baby in this chapter? I'm seeing some interesting chats right now. It's not Mpreg, is it? I say that like resignedly. This is the cutest chapter. Oh, okay. This chapter confirmed Mpreg is canon. Okay. Hey, Kenzie. Kenzie's popping in to say hello. Work was better today and I'm making a gift for my love next month. Oh, how sweet. That's wonderful. Kai says this chapter literally proves Shen Shengqiu can have a biological baby with Bing He. Really? Oh my god. Okay. 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 Interesting. Very interesting. I want to know what some of you guys got up to today. Today, Stitch and I went thrifting in the morning. And then we went to my favorite used video game store, and I found a copy of Luigi's Mansion for GameCube, and I got that, which was very exciting. I remember as a kid, I was only allowed to rent it, so I never owned it. So now I'm super excited to finally own it many, many years in the future. Leandra says this chapter implies they can have a baby. Nastya says, how is Stitch? Stitch is great. Stitch got some new jeans at the thrift. And we also got a bunch of Korean snacks. Oh, is Emma here? Emma helped me find this, like, Korean snack I remember, like, a kid in my class in elementary school always had. And I found them today, and we ate them, and it was awesome. So thank you, Emma, for literally sending me that. I was overjoyed today and I enjoyed them thoroughly. Kate, thank you for your donation. Wearing my comfy danmei book club shirt. Go buy one. Dude, thank you. I also got mine on. Yeah. Or you could get the sticker. I have the link pinned if you guys want to check out my shop and get a danmei book club sticker or shirt or mug. And we also have a design where it's black and white. But I really appreciate it. I'm glad you like the shirt, Kate. Hey, randomly. I'm here to help you not stress. Sumo says, I'm going to see C for the first time this year in 4 hours. I saw it last year, but it's the first time in 2025. Oh my god, how wonderful. Lily, thank you for your donation. Currently at the Stray Kids concert. No way! Oh my god. But I'll join in next time. Enjoy Scum time. Oh my god, enjoy Stray Kids. That's wonderful. Say hi to Bang-chan for me. That's awesome. Oh my god, you're gonna have such a good time. Kate says, obviously I love this extra because yes, MXTX Mpreg supporter. Oh my gosh. Kate, when is your birthday again? Because I remember you saying that you wanted me to read the Liu Shan extra on your birthday, and I feel like we were way off, weren't we? Cats, cows, I'm glad that you can just chill out. Kate's forgotten everything about K-pop. Weird T says, I sent you the Yuri on Ice fan art I told you yesterday. I hope you can see it. On the YouTube mobile app, if you now go to my channel page, you can click on a button that says Visit Community, and you can upload images there. So that's a way better way for me to see fan art or anything you guys want to show me, and I can see that the forum is, like, working already, and it's so cute. I love seeing, like, people, you guys interacting with each other and asking questions and posts and stuff. I'm gonna go through it later. So if you'd like to post it there, that would be awesome. Kenzie says, Kate, I taught you stuff. That's so funny. I went to my friend's house and they did a PowerPoint on Stray Kids and ATs. Was the Lucian chapter already read? Yes, yes, the one with the sex pollen, right? Tina, thank you for your donation, Tina. Currently fighting the install of a new doorknob with a key to keep my work from home equipment safe in the guest room. Oh my gosh. I hope you win. Spark Major says, how sparing do you want people to be with those posts, by the way? Because I can post some bullshit for sure. Post as much as you want. Like, make it like a bumpin' community. Like, if people could go there and see new posts all the time, I'd love that. That's awesome. Like, feel free to post absolutely anything there as long as it's, you know, feels relevant to danmei or things that you know people are interested in, or something that you yourself personally are interested in, or something that's happened in your life, or like whatever. Like, it's a part of a community. Like, yeah. So feel free, go at it. I feel like the only way, like, I have the moderation setting set on like low, just to test it out, you know, to see what people will post. So if there was anything inappropriate, I would just delete it. Yeah, it would have to be safe for work because it's public. The community posting is on the YouTube mobile app. If you go to my channel page at the top, it says visit community. And then if you want to sort by like newest, you can see people are already posting some fan art and stuff. And like some people are posting their setups, like their bookshelf setups, or like sharing pictures of like their dolls, which is so cool. Somebody drew my icon, which I love. And then, but the best part, they wrote my pronouns she, her, question mark, which I love that. That is hilarious. My pronouns are she, her. That made Stitch and I giggle. She, her? Is Mpreg acceptable on the Kichter wall? Of course it is. Of course it is. Nothing inappropriate with Mpreg. I did watch that Mpreg anime, after all. The what? Yeah, what was it called? Tadaima Okari. I reacted to the whole season last summer, I think, yeah. Esper Lady says, YouTube's not letting me send a super chat, but I got my migraine meds today finally. Oh my god, I'm so sorry you suffer from migraines, Esper Lady. I'm sure having your meds will be relieving. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that though. Kate says, speaking of weird animes, there's apparently a new yaoi coming out that's hella not safe for work. Oh, is there? Kai says, what's up with all the fish Mpreg on this channel? I mean, there was a fish Mpreg book with 5 or 4 volumes, right? So we reacted to that. I personally am not... Mpreg is not my favorite thing. It's not like I dislike it or I'm like grossed out by it, but I think I mostly find it funny. Like, I don't actively seek Mpreg content, if that makes sense. I think it is novel, but not spicy, if that makes sense. Spark Major says, you don't seek it, but you don't dissuade it. Yeah, precisely. Kate says, as someone who's been pregnant, I like seeing how accurate it can be. Yeah, Kate is the authority on Mpreg, actually. I feel like just having to say the sentence pretty neutral on mpreg is so funny. Oh my god. Cat's Cow says, Kate has made me an mpreg enjoyer. Make it a sticker. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's a good idea. Yeah, Stitch and I want to do like a sticker sheet with a bunch of funny kind of like danmei sayings on it. Pretty neutral on mpreg. Mpreg enjoyer. Six balls sticker for sure. Oh my god, is Sugar Kiss here? Okay, if Sugar Kiss is not here, can someone who is friends with her or in a server with her or something please tell her this? I watched, or she sent me a, oh, Esper Lady, thank you so much for gifting me a membership. And welcome randomly. Sugar Kiss sent me a Mojang hockey player AU. Big fan of that, as I play hockey myself, and I'm a recent Mobijun lover. He never leaves my grasp. And there was a six balls fucking shout out in the fic, and I died. It was so funny. It was so funny. I could not believe six balls made an appearance. Slay! Can I get a six balls in the chat? Six balls. Lover of six balls. My favorite SCUM villain character, Six Balls. Title of the hockey fic. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. It was Keep Shining On. Kenzie says I have a command for that on my Twitch for six balls and it's my fave. Ah yes, Bingha is the size of a California kickball. Yes. Oh my god. Stitch and I do want to make the... How big of a ball we talking Bingha video. Kate, thank you for your donation. Obligatory six balls donation. Oh my god, thank you so much. Quinn! Yes, I have! Stitch and I have been listening to that on repeat. Mi Vida Loca? Yes. Till's new song, it's so cute! Do you love me? Don't hate me? Oh my god, I fucking love Alien Stage. Casual Dodge says, we don't know for sure. It could be a beach ball. It could. Till is living La Vida Loca. He is. He fucking truly is. Bingha's balls. Are we talking about balls again? Yeah. Shenching Cho's balls. Ping pong balls. Sienna, yes, Orion. We're talking about balls again. One of those yoga balls. God damn. Is there a bigger ball than that? I think like, is there a bigger commercial ball than a yoga ball? Wrecking ball is like, I suppose, larger. That's a bit crazy. The Target balls. The big red balls in front of a Target. Hamster ball. Oh my god, a hamster ball. Shang Qinghua, who is a hamster, being hamster pilled, as he was writing the size of Bingha's dick, he was thinking it's the size of a hamster ball. Oh yeah, the giant ball you can get in as a human at like a fair or something that like are on water. Neko Neko Me says, I'm pretty sure the Chinese word used, while generally translated as just ball, it's specifically a pool ball. Someone go grab a pool ball. I know someone in the chat has to have a pool table. So like an 8-ball or like a 6-ball? How big across is a pool ball? What is the diameter? We're looking this up. What is... The diameter of a pool ball is 2.25 inches. I was gonna say that's a lot smaller than a baby, but then I remembered Chen Chen Cho is not a woman. I feel like all things considered, it's like, I feel like that's like, okay, that's pretty big, but it's not like scary, monstrous. It'll come out of his cloaca. Stop! What? Oh my god. Tennis ball, baseball. Ribbed. I feel like a tennis ball is bigger than an 8-ball, right? Is a tennis ball bigger than an 8-ball? Yeah. No. Yeah. Maybe it just appears bigger because it's fuzzy? A pool ball. Okay. What is the diameter of a tennis ball? Between 2.57 and 2.7. Yeah, so a pool ball is smaller. No, a magic 8-ball. That's funny. Oh my god, if you shake it, it'll tell you your fortune. Wait, that would be so funny. As I see it, yes. Oh my god. Bring back magic 8-ball. Look up the average diameter of a What is the average diameter of a penar? I don't think that's correct. It's not giving me the diameter, I'll tell you that much. There's a Wikipedia page for human penis size. I don't think... It's giving me the diameter this way. I need the diameter this way. Across. There's no way the AI overview is correct. Y'all, you can't fucking trust the AI overview. I guess no one's ever measured the diameter. Okay, wait. Circumference is different than diameter. How do you get the diameter from the circumference? From circumference. Divide the circumference by pi. Okay, so I've found the circumference. Okay, the average circumference is 4.5 inches. What is 4.5 inches divided by pi? 1.4. So the diameter would be 1.4. And so a pool ball would be 1 inch larger than that, exactly. So I think MXTX knew what she was doing and was like, Bingha is 1 inch larger than the average, you know, but in diameter. Twice as large both ways. Correct. I do believe it's like you just take the Photoshop tool and just expand it in all directions, okay? We just did some fucking math. That was real girl math. That was not AI, okay? You cannot trust AI to tell you the size of Bingha's dick. You gotta get your hands dirty yourself. That was some fucking girl math. This is why math is important. Literally, this is why in school, when you learn all these equations and shit, and you're like, when am I ever gonna need to use this? It might save your life. Cucumber bro. Randomly says girl math while I make my girl dinner. Oh my god. Well, I appreciate you guys going on that journey with me. That was something. Double it and give it to Bingha. Double it and give it to Shenxing Zhou. Bean Shenxing Zhou after shaking the 8-ball. Something's coming. Ah, stop. Oh my god. Oh my god. Some very important stuff being discussed in the stream today, yes. Oh god, yeah, Casper was surprisingly huge. I feel like Casper and Bingha might be the same. Don't worry, Shenxing Zhou, I'll get you a wheelchair. Quinn Silva says, I can honestly say when I jumped online today, I was not expecting conversations of this topic. Well, now we've all learned. Waffles, yes! Stitch and I almost filmed the Legend of Exorcism video today, but to be honest, I was so tired. I was like, I don't feel like doing it today. I don't feel good. So we just chilled. So we'll probably film it tomorrow. Brayley has been a member for 7 months and says, I love this community so much. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad you enjoy it. I love it as well. Thank you for being a member for so long. And Ko, who's been a member for a whole year, thank you so much. Oh my god, that's so awesome to be here for a whole year. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Ko. Ko says, hi everyone, I'm here for my birthday and remembered I bought a membership for last year's birthday. Really busy and can't listen, but I'll watch the video later. Oh, that's so sweet of you. You bought it for your birthday? Well, happy birthday. I hope you have the best day ever. And just please know how much your support means to me. And I'm so glad you stayed for a whole year and I hope you have the best birthday ever. Kenzie says, by the way, you're giving me Jimin from BTS vibes with your hair. I love it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Thank you. I've been having some hair trouble recently. I've also been having like face trouble. I've been breaking out like crazy, so I haven't been wearing makeup recently on stream. So I feel a little self-conscious, to be honest. But I always feel comfortable hanging out with you guys. I think I feel self-conscious because I don't like it when people say I look tired, because I'm not tired. Sometimes I think I have dark circles under my eyes because I have very like fair skin and I get dark circles easily. So then it makes me feel like I have to put on makeup to go on stream, but sometimes if I'm like breaking out, I don't want to put on makeup. You know what I mean? Kenzie says, you are slaying. Kenzie, stop! Thank you though, I appreciate it. Oh, you guys are too sweet. Kate, you are not an ugly barnacle. Oh, you guys are so nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. I will say my new camera does have like a slight skin smoothing effect. You can go up to 5. I have it on 1 right now, and I think it just evens out the lighting a little bit on your face. I remember I used to work for a company and we would film like we'd film men all the time. Oh my god, disgusting, right? I'm just kidding. And we would use like the skin filter 1 on them because it still looked quite natural, but then as soon as you go up to 2, it's like obvious you're using a filter, and then you go to 5 and it's like, oh my god, like it's like Douyin filter. Oh, Kenzie! Kenzie says, I'm sorry I haven't been here as often, but I will always be here to tell you how slay you are. That's so sweet of you, Kenzie. Oh, you're so kind. Spark Major says, the only thing that would make you cuter would be some glasses. I miss glasses, Kictor. Where is she? Oh my god, that's so funny. I only did that one time to look like Stitch. I actually don't wear glasses. I think wearing glasses as an accessory is cute, but I also feel like guilty about it because I feel like I'm like appropriating glasses culture. I kind of like this is an absolute just joke, but like I have freckles, and so when I see people put on fake freckles, I'm like, oh my god, like you did not earn those freckles. I feel it's like something I was like teased about in elementary school, and now it's a fashion statement. You feel like a sense of entitlement over it. But I love it when people put on the fake freckles and stuff. I think it's super cute. Spark Major says, don't you dare feel bad. Okay, okay. Some fashion glasses could be nice. I did want to get those Modao Zushi glasses. They came out with the Lanwonji and the Wei Wuxian ones. Spark Major says, I'm blind as fuck, and I say, wear the glasses. I won't be at Anime Expo. I would love to go there one day, though. Gabby says the only person I know that does fake freckles is Mao Mao. Stitch is super blind. Stitch has very thick glasses. Emma says, were you able to order the Wangshin glasses on Tabo? I never ended up ordering them. I chickened out. Leandra says, we'll be able to read 2 chapters today. Let's see how long this next chapter is. Chapter 28, Return to Childhood. It's quite short. The next one is Regret of Chunshan and Song of Bingcho. Oh, yeah, I think we could probably read 2 of them. Wait, is that the wine one? Oh no. The chapter 30 is called Honeymoon. It's Regret of Chunshan, the wine chapter. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are we gonna read it today? I need to change the title of the live stream. Okay, we will see. We will see. Let's read. Let's read the first chapter and then see how we are all feeling, okay? Yeah, there's honeymoon and then wedding, and that's the end. Return to childhood, Chunshan and Bingcho, wedding, honeymoon, and that's the end. Okay, chapter 28. Siramori, thank you for being a member for 4 months. Said, late but here, I've been catching up to all of these. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you've been watching them. Okay, are we ready? All I'm gonna think about this whole time reading this is that there's gonna be the wine chapter. We'll see. We'll see if we get there. When he woke up, Shen Qingqiu slowly turned over in bed, but he didn't find an arm locked around his waist as he usually did. Oh. The light of dawn spilled in from beyond the window. He covered his eyes with the sleeve of his inner robe, but this single movement made his waist and back begin to ache and his arm feel weak. A faint tearing pain came from a certain part of his lower half, accompanied by the strange sensation of some... Oh my god! After last night's whole stretch of nonsense, waking up had come with a wave of consequences. Wondering why Lo Binghe hadn't woken at the crack of dawn to clean him up and make breakfast on the way, Shen Qingqiu rasped, "Binghe?" No one responded. Even more confused, Shen Qingqiu forced his eyes open and looked down, only to find a small head with a curtain of soft black hair. Oh no. Shen Qingqiu was speechless. The owner of this small head had a cute and pretty face with a natural flush on his pale and tender cheeks, a long, thick curtain of lush black eyelashes, tightly shut eyes, and pale pink lips. This person was also curled up in a ball like a little kitten by Shen Qingqiu's side, his head pillowed on his own arm. Stop! Oh my fucking god! Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Is that baby Binghe? Oh my god. He's so small. Even though this person wasn't the same size, and even though he looked to be about 5 or 6 years old at most, and even though there were no more even those, Even if he'd shrunk to another size, Shen Qingqiu could absolutely still recognize him at first glance. This was the face of the great male protagonist. With a shudder, his voice jumped up an octave. Lo Binghe! He was going to try pinching his own arms to see if he could pinch himself awake, but as soon as he sprang up, that ache in his lower half sent him collapsing stiffly back down. Oh my god, he's like, ah! Ah! Still curled up in a little ball, Lo Binghe's lashes trembled and he slowly drifted awake. With a red mark across one half of his face from his own arm, he squinted at Shen Qingqiu's half-dressed form across the bed and reached for him in a gimme-a-hug gesture. Shizun? Binghe! Oh my god! That's so cute! Oh fuck! Oh. Big uppies! That's so cute! Oh god! The voice was soft and squishy, so tender and sweet that it practically dripped. Accordingly, Lo Binghe froze as soon as he opened his mouth. They gave each other a blank stare. After a period of chaotic fumbling, they finally managed to sort out what exactly had happened. Oh my god, so is he like fully an adult brain? He wakes up like, Shizun. That means that his, like, baby instinct that was so in character as a baby was how he actually just reacts in the morning normally. Lo Binghe had been at a critical juncture in his cultivation lately. The common wisdom was that he should have been clearing his mind and keeping himself pure of base desires in order to prevent any mishaps from occurring. Yet the evening prior, he had lost control and rolled around with Shen Qingqiu all night, and finally, he'd suffered a chi deviation. Shen Qingqiu didn't find this at all difficult to accept because this plotline had occurred in the original text of Proud Immortal Demon Way. Of course, airplane shooting towards the sky hadn't written that arc for cute fluff, but rather because the de-aged Lo Binghe had been able to openly strut into all sorts of locations an adult man couldn't enter. Exactly what those locations were, one can imagine for oneself. And such a little kid was way better at lowering young women's guards, so they could proceed to have intimate contact, and then, right when they least expected it, he'd win them over in a single blow. This plotline had taken so long to show up that Shen Qingqiu had thought it had been skipped. He'd never expected that it had been unable to occur on time. Shen Qingqiu pressed a hand to his forehead. How much of your martial aspect remains? Not even a tenth, Lo Binghe had a stern expression written all over his youthful face. Not only did it fail to convey the severity of the situation, it was instead extremely funny. So Shen Qingqiu very uncharitably began to laugh. After he was done laughing, he rearranged his face into a serious expression and said with a cough, "Just 1/10? All right. Then we can't stay in the demon realm." Lo Binghe had offended more than a few humans and demons both. At this sort of time, the obvious next move was to flee as far away as possible and hide as well as they could. Shen Qingqiu's first thought, therefore, was to grab Chibi Lo Binghe and make a run for it ASAP. Having made up his mind, he went to get up and get dressed, only for his face to twitch up in pain again as soon as he straightened his back. Every time before, after they finished, Lo Binghe had carried him into the hot springs while he was still deep asleep, and helped him clean up. But now, Lo Binghe could at most cling to one of Shen Qingqiu's legs, much less haul him anywhere. Lo Binghe crouched down next to him, eyes huge and on the verge of tears. Oh my god. Shen Qingqiu was silent for a moment, then comforted him. Forget it, it's fine, I can do it myself. He's just like, I'm so sorry. Oh my god. In the deepest part of the middle of the natural hot springs, Lo Binghe had dug in the underground palace. The water rose past Shen Qingqiu's chest. If he tossed Chibi Lo Binghe into it, he'd immediately be submerged up to his head, so Shen Qingqiu had to carefully sit down on the round stones along the edge while holding him, and even instructed him to sit tight, so not as to slip. He was about to start giving himself a cursory cleaning when he saw Lo Binghe straining to reach a nearby chunk of limestone to try and hand him the box of soap sitting there, but no matter how far he stretched, he fell short. Oh my god, baby Bing Bing is so fucking cute. This scene reminded him of Lo Binghe crouched in a valley when he had first arrived at Sangchong Mountain to seek tutelage, a patched-up cloth bundle on his back as he assiduously dug holes. Shen Qingqiu looked at him for a while and couldn't resist pulling him into his arms. Expressionless, he began to squish and tug at Lo Binghe's face. While subjected to this aggressive harassment, Lo Binghe inhaled a few gulps of water. His skin already had a faint flush from the warm steam, and with his struggles, his entire body practically turned pink. In a surge of emotion, Lo Binghe instinctively grabbed Shen Qingqiu's wrist and tried to shove him down against the limestone. Though Shen Qingqiu considerately cooperated and let Lo Binghe shove him down, Lo Binghe's pretty little face went instantly dark. With this body, even if he shoved Shen Qingqiu down 1,000, 10,000 times, there would be no point. He couldn't do anything about it. At the sight of Lo Binghe's face going from red to white to dark, Shen Qingqiu practically gave himself an internal injury from just trying not to laugh. You were so impetuous when tormenting this master last night, suffering the consequences today, are you? Wasn't it Shizhen who seduced this disciple first? Lo Binghe cried out, betrayed. This made Shen Qingqiu's face flare red as he internally gasped in shame. He righted his expression and quickly let go. Caught off guard, Lo Binghe slipped into the water, disappearing into a stream of bubbles. He's just fucking drowning him. Oh my god. Oh my god. I love how he couldn't help but, like... There's a scene in TGCF with Shailian doing that with little Hua Chung that I love so much, where he just couldn't help but, like, toss him up and down on the bed and play with him. The cuteness aggression. So cute. Shen Qingqiu's preferences being what they were, the first haven he thought of was naturally Sangchong Mountain, but Lo Binghe would rather have died than go back there. That was about right. As of now, with Lo Binghe's martial aspect damaged, he'd definitely get hounded by onlookers if they went, and Lo Qingge would definitely be within that crowd. So Shen Qingqiu compromised and just brought him to the human realm. As they say, the greatest form of solitude is solitude within a city. Thus, they settled in an especially prosperous town. While Lo Binghe was repairing his martial aspect, they would take up residence there to pass the time. Shen Qingqiu soon got so bored that his bones began to itch, so he casually took up work at the largest academy in the city. Naturally, Lo Binghe was unhappy with this. First of all, he disliked it when Shen Qingqiu took other disciples. Wasn't that throng of disciples on Qingjing Peak enough for him? And now he was taking more? Second of all, he disliked it even more when people assumed he was Shen Qingqiu's son, especially because every time they got into bed at night, he was kissed and hugged, yet he couldn't do anything at all. He even had to listen to Shen Qingqiu teasingly call him good boy and my little darling. More and more, he came to hate his own lack of ability. When Shen Qingqiu returned from the academy one day, he saw that Lo Binghe had brought a stool to the doorway and was sitting there waiting for him, an aloof and unfathomable expression on his face. If you swapped him with the adult version, the sight would naturally have made one shrink back in fear, trembling in their boots. But what about when he was the wrong size? All he did was make it irresistible to reach out with a pair of fingers to pinch his wee face. No matter the depths of his refusal, he summoned to his face, even the little chirping sparrows sounding him couldn't stop building dirt castles all around his stool. One after another, they occasionally tried to cut... How do you pronounce the word C-A-J-O-L-E? Cajole? Cajole him? I know what it means, but cajole him to join their games? Okay. One after another, as they occasionally tried to cajole him to join their games. Said sparrows were the neighboring family's kids. Since the first day Lo Binghe and Shen Qingqiu moved in, the children had submitted to the male protagonist's charisma halo and clung to him like nothing else. He couldn't even chase them away. Fortunately, they were all afraid of Shen Qingqiu. Every child was afraid of a teacher, so as soon as they saw him return, the flock scattered. Thus, Shen Qingqiu gracefully extended his fingers and moved to claim his usual pinch of Lo Binghe's cheeks. Then a series of bright, crisp voices called Shen Shen Sheng from behind him, and a few graceful figures decked out in silver and gold walked into the courtyard uninvited. Shen Qingqiu turned and saw that the newcomers were a few of the town's rather energetic married ladies. He gave them a nod, but before he could offer a greeting, the one in the lead strode up and caught his arm, whereupon she tried to drag him out and away. Shen Shen Sheng, we've been looking for you all day. Come on, come with me quick. The girl's going to go mad waiting. Go where? Lo Binghe snapped. What girl? Shen Qingqiu was also confused. Lady A, startled by Lo Binghe's dark expression, fanned herself and let out a sound of surprise. Such a little one, yet he's so scary when he talks. Whatever is the young master so angry about? Shen Sheng, is he mad at you? Lady B bustled over. Here, here, come over here. Young master, JJ has some candy for you. Don't get in your daddy's way. Lo Binghe ignored them and assumed a cold look. Did you make any plans today? This mass, I don't remember. Lady A tutted at him. Shen Shang, you know perfectly well and you still ask. Do you have to make me say it clearly? Fine, fine. I have a niece in my family, an excellent and respectable girl. I thought you two would be a good match, so we arranged a banquet in the Changshi Pavilion to let you get to know each other. And the girl from my family. And my cousin too. It looked like everything happened fast in lively places. Shen Qingqiu hadn't been here very long, but the residents of the city were already talking about how there was a new scholar in town, and not only was he well-read and highly talented, polite and soft-spoken, he also had a handsome and elegant appearance and was very refreshing. Of course, all of this was superficial. The most important thing was that he had to be rich, stinking rich. He'd thrown down the money for a respectable courtyard all at once. How could he have managed that if he wasn't rich? And he'd even come with a 4- or 5-year-old son, and what a pure and adorable child he was. Already a handsome sprout at this age. He would certainly develop into an elegant and dignified gentleman in the future. How devastating. Anyone with an unmarried daughter of suitable age or a newborn daughter without an arranged betrothal would be raring to snag them. A match with either the elder or the younger. Neither would be a bad deal. Lo Binghe's face was green with rage. He doesn't need matchmaking. His rightful partner wasn't dead yet. Lady C strolled over, swaying her hips. Little young Master Shen, do you not want your dad to marry a new wife? Won't it be good to have a gentle, pretty new mom to take care of you? That's right, Lady B added. Shen Sheng, you can't spoil your little son like this. I hear you even bring him with you to the academy, and he even sits on your lap. You don't have to take it from me, but if you pamper him this much, you won't raise him into a good man. My son, you see... At the sight of Lo Binghe on the verge of flattening this entire courtyard with a flick of his arm, Shen Qingqiu hurriedly picked him up and retreated. This Shen accepts all of your good intentions. I do not plan on, restringing my chin, as it were. I have one at home, and a young son to look after, so please forgive me for my inability to accept your invitation. What is Shen Sheng saying? Asked Lady A, who wore a large red peony pinned at her temple, as she spoke with a righteous vigor. Men and women ought to get married when they come of age, and you have such a large residence. How can it go without a lady to attend the house? By what logic ought a person of such character and elegant demeanor be all alone with a single child? Not only will you be uncomfortable, it won't look good. People will talk. Lady A waved around her fan, brooking no resistance. It's a date. Shen Sheng, you're coming with us right now. The little young master can stay home. Someone will come to keep him company. Lo Binghe sneered. Just who do you think is going to leave? Shen Qingqiu wasn't able to keep up with this savage charm for long. In consideration for the lives of his 3 eager matchmakers and everyone else in town, he flung out a few talismans to render them unconscious, abandoned the residence he had bought, and fled. Oh my god! I was like, is he gonna appease them? Literally just being like, unconscious! That's amazing. Escape the heterosexuality. He abandoned the residence he had bought not even a month ago and fled. The only place they could flee was back to Sangchong Mountain. Leading Lo Binghe by the hand, Shen Qingqiu started up the long mountain steps. The man sweeping the stairs did his work as diligently and earnestly as he always had during his 10-some years. As Shen Qingqiu strolled up, their eyes met, and he gave the man a faint smile. Shen Qingqiu was about to greet him when the man looked at him, then at Lo Binghe holding his hand, and his face twitched. All of a sudden, he tossed aside the broom that was as tall as he and sprinted up the steps like his rear end was on fire. In a flash, he was hundreds of steps away, and in addition to shock, Shen Qingqiu felt a sense of pride. That was Sangchong Mountain for you. Even the stair sweeper was a hidden master. The stairway was lengthy, and before they had gone halfway up, Lo Binghe began to yawn. He was low on strength at present, so it was unavoidable that he grew tired easily. Shen Qingqiu picked him up. Get some sleep. Getting a read on a disciple's heart was like finding the proverbial needle in a haystack. Sometimes Lo Binghe was willing to be picked up, but sometimes his entire face would go red and he would struggle out of Shen Qingqiu's hold, preferring to walk himself. Now he was probably truly exhausted. He curled up in Shen Qingqiu's arms, shut his eyes for a while, and just like that, fell asleep. Oh my god, he's so cute. Once he'd climbed the heaven-ascending stairs, Shen Qingqiu sensed strange gazes directed at him as soon as he stepped into the main plaza, and he heard a surge of whispering from all around. The stair sweeper started down again, hugging his broom, and gave him an especially strange look on the way. Shen Qingqiu walked up to Qingjing Peak, holding Lo Binghe. At the door of the bamboo house, all his disciples rushed over in a frenzy. As soon as Ming Fan saw Lo Binghe curled up in Shen Qingqiu's arms, he looked as if he'd been punched in the solar plexus or struck by lightning. While the others fought their way forward to look, he staggered back. Ning Yingying shoved aside the people in front of her, stared at Lo Binghe in deep asleep in Shen Qingqiu's arms, and covered her mouth. He looks like Aluo. He looks like Aluo! Nonsense. If he didn't look like Lo Binghe, who else would he look like? Ning Yingying grabbed Shen Qingqiu's sleeves in excitement. Shizen, does he have a name? Did you name him yet? Shen Qingqiu was perplexed. If he doesn't have a name, can I give him one? What the hell? What the heliante? Lo Binghe shifted restlessly in his arms and mumbled loud. Shen Qingqiu raised his folding fan threateningly in midair, then jerked it back and made a shush gesture. I love how protective he is of him. It's so cute. Then the door of the bamboo house came crashing down. Lo Binghe jerked and opened his eyes, startled awake. Lo Qingge strode in like a flying meteor. Shen Qingqiu sent a death glare at the furtive-looking Ming Fan, shifted Lo Binghe behind him, and gave Lo Qingge a fake smile. Lu Shidi, long time no see. What are you hiding for? Lo Qingge snapped. Hiding what? Shen Qingqiu replied. I'm not hiding. Lo Binghe planted a hand on Shen Qingqiu's chest. There's no need to hide. I'm not afraid of him. Lo Qingge walked over and glared down at the challenge written all over Lo Binghe's little face. After a long time, he managed to stammer out, as if he was forcibly suppressing some emotion. When did you and Lo Binghe, when did you and he? When did they what? What had they done? Does Lo Qingge know how sex works? Does Lo Qingge know where babies come from? These are questions that are asked and not answered in SCUM Villain Self-Saving System. Also, the emotion in his voice. Liu Shen shippers. Are you sensing what I'm sensing? Miss Rosie, thank you for gifting a membership. I hope that you're doing a little bit better today, Miss Rosie. I'm happy to see you here. Lo Qingge seemed to find it difficult to speak, so Ming Fan cried out in his place. When did you have a son with him? He's so big! Silence. Great Master Liu, airplane shooting towards the sky, didn't write a Green Zhenjiang Mpreg novel! After very impolitely blasting Great Master Liu off Qingjing Peak, Shen Qingqiu still felt like he was numb from a particularly electric shock. How can a man give birth to a child? Having been told the true sequence of events, Ning Yingying now knew that the child Shen Qingqiu had carried back wasn't his own baby. She was greatly disappointed, and she felt that her heart, full of passion and the 50-some names she'd come up with, had gone to waste. Oh my god. Oh my god. I love that, like, it's like, you bring a baby back to the peak and everyone is so excited. Like, a baby? When did you have a baby? Can I name it? And it's like, oh, it's Lo Binghe. She was so ready to be an auntie, yes. Oh. It was the stair sweeper Gaga who went around telling everyone, she said, pouting. We all assumed it was true. Who could have thought Aluo could also suffer a chi deviation? Stair sweeper, how talented. Not only are you fast, your galaxy brain level delusions are also so unique. Shen Qingqiu will remember this. Oh my god, that sentence is so memey. Galaxy brain and Shen Qingqiu will remember this. That's hilarious. This disciple thought that when it came to the demon race, making a man give birth to a child wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility, Ming Fan said awkwardly. Even fucking Ming Fan thought it was possible? Everyone vigorously... Oh, sorry. I got him mixed up with the doctor. He's just Ming Fan. What's the doctor's name? Mu Ching Fan, right? The M and the F. Everyone vigorously nodded. Shen Jingqiu suffered even further mental collapse as he attempted to argue for logic. Even if I did, a kid wouldn't have grown this big in a few short months. He's just schooling people on how pregnancy works at this point. Like, even if I was pregnant, like, why would he even have to say that? Oh my god. Even if I did, a kid wouldn't have grown this big in a few short months. Who knows, Ming Fan said. We disciples thought that if it was that monster Lo Binghe's child, it wouldn't be impossible for a kid to be that big even when they were born. Shen Jingqiu was speechless. That night, Qingjing Peak's long-abandoned mass book-copying punishments made a grand reappearance. It was a rare occasion that Shen Jingqiu managed to make time to return to Sangchong Mountain while the 12 Peak Lords were all in one place. Naturally, they had to get there together for a meeting or a meal. It had been a long time since Shen Jingqiu had sat, doing his poser act, in the second chair of the rear hall of Chongding Hall. He missed the sensation. He nodded at and greeted the Peak Lords one by one, exchanging a series of, "It's been a long time. I hope you've been well," and "Same to yous." He snapped open his fan, face brimming with joy. Yue Qingyuan's expression seemed to be a bit strange when he saw Shen Jingqiu, but he didn't say anything much. He just sat down at the head seat, smiled at him, then placed a stack of files on the table. We're getting everyone's reaction to Shen Jingqiu having a child. Like, everyone is so emotional about it, and it's because they're all in love with him. Shen Xinghua scurried up to collect and distribute them to everyone else. Shen Jingqiu accepted the list from Shang Xinghua, but first gave him a cursory glance. There was no telling what Shang Xinghua had done to piss off Mo Beizhan this time, but the corner of his lip was swelling as he gave Shen Jingqiu a pathetic smile. Shen Jingqiu couldn't bear to look, so he shifted his gaze back to the file. The key points of discussion had already been marked in bold cinnabar red. With the first glance, the sip of tea he had just drunk spewed out of his mouth. Did that swelling come from Kim Sing? First, aggressively restrict access to copies of Regret of Chunshan, Song of Bingzhou, etc. Forbid the distribution of any edition on any occasion, whether public or private. Set a 1-month deadline for copies to be turned over, after which anyone found to be in possession of or circulating copies will be severely punished. Punishment shall be increased by 1 level for illustrations. Second, because of numerous complaints, the relevant leadership of Baijian Peak shall tighten their supervision. Inter-peak brawls are strictly prohibited. Third, because a small number of complaints, Qingjing Peak shall take note of the time when practicing the chin. Please avoid the noon break and night times. Who's playing the chin at all hours? Lan Wonji. Lan Wonji's playing the chin, moaning in sadness. Is playing the chin a euphemism for sex? Practicing the chin? Because Shen Qingqiu earlier was like, I have no need to restring my chin. Yue Qingyuan could be doing the sad strumming. Third, because of a small number of complaints, Qingjing Peak shall take note of the time when practicing the chin. Please avoid the noon break and night times. Fourth, Shanshu Peak requests permission to fortify and increase the height of their fences and petition for their fences to be electrified. Fifth, Kushin Peak's numbers have dwindled over the years, and they request permission to increase their recruitment efforts. They petition for first rights to select new disciples the next time the mountain gates are opened. Sixth, the Peak Lords must increase attention to education on each peak. Sect members must not fight publicly with Huanhua Palace disciples while identified as Sangchong Mountain disciples. Seventh, if demons are encountered while carrying out missions, do not rashly attack. Make sure to ascertain their lineage and affiliated division before deciding whether to fight. Are they trying to end racism? I love that, because, you know, Shang Qinghua is a demon boyfriend, Shen Qingqiu is a demon boyfriend. It's like, times are changing. It's like, hey, if you see a demon, you don't have to fight on sight. Find out if they're a cool guy first. Spitting out one's tea in front of everyone was extremely improper behavior, but Shen Qingqiu didn't need to worry about this failure of etiquette, because after reading the first item on the agenda, most of the other Peak Lords also spat out their tea. Given his surroundings, he didn't stand out very much. The meeting room sank into an awkward confusion. Even if Shen Qingqiu fanned hard enough to raise the wind and waves, he failed to fan away the miasma. By what great merit had Regret of Chunshen come to be first on the list? And what the hell was this new one, Song of Bingqiu? After the meeting concluded, Shen Qingqiu began to sulkily head towards Qingjing Peak, but before he got very far, he realized quite a few of the Peak Lords were following him. Shidi and Shimei, I believe the way back to your peaks does not lie in this direction, Shen Qingqiu said amicably. That's because I wasn't going back to my peak in the first place, said Shi Qingqi. Shen Qingqiu had known this hurdle was coming, but he still made a valiant attempt to clear it. Why have you suddenly thought to come visit Qingjing Peak? My bamboo house is simple and crude. I am afraid I cannot provide ample hospitality. What are you playing dumb for? I know your bamboo house is simple and crude. Who wants to visit you? I'm obviously going to see that darling disciple you've hidden away. Everyone in this crowd was eagerly plotting to gawk at Lo Binghe like he was some rare curiosity. Helpless, Shen Qingqiu said. He'll be angry. You don't have to take it from me, Shen Shishong, but how does a disciple like him dare to be angry with his shizen? Do you not discipline him properly? That won't do. No matter what your relationship is now, you should keep up discipline where it's due. So what if he's angry? What's there to be afraid of? Lo Binghe's powers are less than a tenth of his usual. If we don't anger him now, when else can we? They want to bully him. They want to bully him. Because of his ascetic lifestyle, the Kuxing Peak Lord had a fiery temperament, and he was impatient after having failed to acquire the selection priority he wanted. Enough with this blathering. Are you just afraid we'll empty out your stock of tea? We're coming. We're coming. Shen Qingqiu knew there was no escape, and his face darkened as he was dragged off towards Qingjing Peak. How do you guys know the situation so well? It's like you know it even better than me. He could maybe hold off one or two of them, but when several Peak Lords swarmed into the bamboo house all at once, there was nothing he could do to stop them. As soon as Qi Qingqi walked in the door, she lost it and let out a chuckle. Lo Binghe was lying on the bed, deep asleep and tucked in tight, looking just as he had when Shen Qingqiu left. Shen Qingqiu gestured as if to say, "He's asleep, don't disturb him." Lo Qingge sent a glance inside and couldn't resist remarking, "Why does he look different from yesterday?" Different? Shen Qingqiu turned, and sure enough, he was different. Lo Binghe seemed to have aged 2 years, and now looked to be about 7 or 8. Admirable growth, Wei Qingwei said quietly. Qi Qingqi peered closely at him. At this rate, he's going to grow out of those clothes soon. Shen Qingqiu hadn't considered the issue. He pondered this, then realized that Lo Binghe's clothes truly hadn't fit so well this morning, and a chunk of his wrist was showing. True indeed, I have been careless. I'll take him to buy a few more sets tomorrow. What do you mean buy? Qi Qingqi asked. Do you not know how to use what we have? Just go to Shanshu Peak and ask a few JJ and Mei Mei to make some outfits for him. At this, a few of the Peak Lords rather ungenerously began to chuckle. A vision of a crowd of sweet-smelling immortal ladies surrounding an aggrieved demon cut-sleeve and chirping in their bird-like voices was enough to give these Peak Lords, who had nothing better to do, a good laugh. Seeing their glee at kicking Lo Binghe while he was down, Shen Qingqiu's heart began to hurt for the dregs of his disciple's dignity. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Let's go and sit in the drawing room. Don't stand around there staring at him. Stop laughing. Careful, you'll wake him up. You wouldn't let us look at him before, and you won't let him look at us now either? Shen Shishong, you're such a killjoy. Give me some face. All right. Then Shen Shishong should come drink with us on Zui's Shan Peak tonight. I still have to look after Lo Binghe. You used to hole yourself up in here all the time, refusing to budge, then you got dragged around all over the place. You're finally back for once, so forget the kid. Let's go together. You need time for yourself, and you can't just orbit around your disciple all day. After Shen Qingqiu finally managed to shoo away his sect siblings and return to the bamboo house, he felt as if his head had swelled at full size. Lo Binghe was awake, sitting at his old desk. His legs weren't long enough to reach the ground and hung in midair. Next to him was a pile of documents even taller than he was. He held a brush dipped in red ink as he reviewed some lists and made notes. Shen Qingqiu looked at him for a while, then walked in. What are you doing? Lo Binghe looked up. Shizun hasn't been back in a long time, and there was no one to organize the books. This disciple wanted to make a new catalog and put them in storage. Just get some rest. You don't have to take care of these things. But Shizun wasn't here, and I had nothing else to do. I thought I might as well just do it. Shen Qingqiu sat next to him, thought for a moment, and then asked, Are you unhappy to be at Qingjing Peak? Lo Binghe gave him a faint smile. What is Shizun saying? How could this disciple be unhappy? Shen Qingqiu slowly got up and went to head outside, but suddenly he couldn't move his feet. Lo Binghe jumped down from the table and grabbed onto his legs. You're right, he ground out through gritted teeth. This disciple is unhappy. There you go. If you're unhappy, just say so. From now on, if you have something to say, don't shut it up inside your heart and stifle your feelings. If you really don't like Qingjing Peak, we'll leave once you recover your original form. It's just that, in your current state, you're unsuited to constant travel. If anything happens, Sangchong Mountain can at least protect you. I do like it, but the Qingjing Peak I like is only Qingjing Peak. It's not Sangchong Mountain. And aside from Shizun and myself, it has no other people. Oh. But, Shen Qingqiu thought, the Qingjing Peak you like has never really existed, has it? Lo Binghe mumbled, Shizun, is it true that being with me has made you lose a lot of opportunities to do things for yourself? Oh my god. Oh my god, it's like the only child guilt with the single father. Shen Qingqiu burst out laughing. You put on quite a good act of being asleep. Your ears are sharp, too. How much of your martial aspect have you recovered? Shizun, the reason I didn't want to come back wasn't because I don't like this place. Rather, it's too easy for you to be stolen away here, he mumbled, depressed. If I were my actual self, I'd have some confidence that I could steal you back, no matter what I had to do. But as my current self, I really feel like I can't win against others. Shen Qingqiu rapped the top of his head. Who asked you to win? You don't need to steal me. Shizun will go with you himself. The appearance of one's conversation partner was truly of utmost importance. If this were the adult version Lo Binghe, Shen Qingqiu wouldn't have said something so nauseatingly frank, even if you held a knife to his throat. But since this was the mini version, who he could pick up in his arms, and who was also willing to cling to his legs and throw a tantrum to seek comfort, Shen Qingqiu was free of all psychological pressures. Lo Binghe lifted his face and gave him an adoring gaze. The flowers were in bloom and the moon was round, and at this fine hour in this beautiful scene, a faint fragrance floated on the breeze, which was set a perfect mood. Anyone's heart would race. Lo Binghe's dewy eyes blazed brighter and brighter, and finally, unable to resist, he shoved Shen Qingqiu down on the bamboo couch and pounced. He sprawled out on Shen Qingqiu's chest as the two of them stared at each other. You can continue. But even if they continued, he couldn't do any of the things he wanted to. Shen Qingqiu's expression was full of a sympathy he couldn't manage to hide. After a while, a howl of unbearable rage escaped from Lo Binghe's still youthfully tender throat. Oh my god, they like each other so much. That's so funny. Oh my god, Binghe being like jealous of everyone else, and then Shen Qingqiu just being like, bro, fuck everyone else. Fuck everyone else. Impotence! Oh my god. That's funny. Okay, everyone. The next chapter, Chapter 29, Regret of Chunshan and Song of Bingzhou. Now, I've told everyone when the text is too inappropriate, I will sum it up in appropriate terms where I can. Are we ready? We all have to lock in for this. Oh my god. I feel like this needs to be a special occasion. Fucking wine in the chat. Happy Pride. Oh god. Okay, I have literally no idea what happens at all. So... Chapter 29, Regret of Chun-Chan and Song of Bing-Zhou. Wait, calm down first. From his place nestled between Chen Qingqiu's legs, Lo Binghe shifted even farther forward. But this disciple saw something very interesting today. I'm afraid I won't be able to calm down for the next few days. Shizen, what should I do? Oh, but this disciple saw something very interesting today. I'm afraid I won't be able to calm down for the next few days. Shizen, what should I do? After resting for over a month at Sangcheng Mountain, Lo Binghe had finally recovered his original form. Chen Qingqiu knew this day wouldn't end peacefully, but he still said with composure, "That's easy. What did you see? Bring it here and show this master so we can discuss it together. But before that, get in a more normal position so we can talk properly." Lo Binghe nodded and ignored the last request entirely. Okay, then I'll let Shizen see. Slow and measured, he retrieved a thin little booklet from his lapels. The little booklet was illustrated in a flowery style, rather gaudy at first glance, not to mention familiar. Chen Qingqiu was still pondering this familiarity when Lo Binghe flipped it open, straightened his back, and began to recite in a bright, clear voice. Once night fell, Lo Binghe lay on the bed, tossing and turning, unable to find slumber. He was used to passing out on the cold floor of the woodshed, and suddenly finding himself in a bed, he found it difficult to fall asleep, especially when the Shizen he so longed for lay not far away, just on the other side of a single screen in a gauze canopy. The day's solicitous inquiries and attentive concern replayed before his eyes, fanning the fire in the pit of his stomach, hotter and hotter, higher and higher. Chen Qingqiu was speechless. Lo Binghe continued reading with a straight face. Lo Binghe felt his way to the bed. Cloth rustled beneath his hands as he loosened the ties of Chen Qingqiu's inner robe, and when he reached beneath the layer of cloth, he found fine, smooth skin and strong, supple muscle. Dazed and spellbound, he tore the waist sash in two. Chen Qingqiu cast a glance at the waist sash Lo Binghe had just ferociously torn open and tossed on the ground. Goosebumps rose all over his body. What was he supposed to say to this? Lo Binghe lowered the booklet, looked up, and said in all seriousness, "It says here that this disciple lost his virginity the same night he moved out of the woodshed. In the flames of desire, lurid intentions bloomed. I snuck into the bamboo house's inner room in the middle of the night under the cover of darkness, and while Shizen was in the grip of a nightmare, unable to move an inch, did such and so, amorous and tender until the break of dawn." What the fuck? If I remember correctly, Lo Binghe was only 15 back then, utterly devoid of conscience. Perverse lunacy! Lo Binghe continued as he flipped. Though the Lo Binghe in this novel is more audacious than the disciple and dares to act more boldly, his feelings for Shizen aren't far from the truth. Binghe reading his own fanfic, like reading fanfic about him being like, you know, it's pretty fucking in character. If you really dared to act like that, this master couldn't guarantee he wouldn't take your life on the spot. This is so funny. Oh my god. Look at him enjoying it, reading it, and he's like, "Argh." Yeah, they got me pretty in character, Shizen. I don't know what to say. Lo Binghe leaned down and kissed Shen Jingqiu's earlobe. Warm breath spilled over the rim of his ear as he cajoled him. Shizhen, weren't you the one who said we would explore together? At least give it a second glance. Oh my god. He didn't dare look. If that text burned out his eyes, there was no way to get them replaced. Lo Binghe chuckled. You won't look? Then allow this disciple to read it for you. Voice expressive, he went on. After Shizhen lost his chastity to Lo Binghe that night, he severely punished this rebellious disciple and intended to banish him from Sangchong Mountain Sect, but in the end, he couldn't bear to do it. He merely treated him coldly until the Immortal Alliance Conference was beset by sudden misfortune. Master and disciple were separated, several years passed, and when they reunited, Shen Jingqiu finally fell into Lo Binghe's clutches. Look here, Shizhen, the Huanhua Palace water prison chapter is really something else. Shen Jingqiu couldn't compete with Lo Binghe's stubbornness, and he truly was a bit curious. So in a moment's slip of control, he snuck a glance out of the corner of his eye. The single glance burned him to a perfect crisp. Regret of Chunshan, Part 37. Flirtation in the Water Prison. Shen Jingqiu shook his head, voice slurred as he spoke. Lo Binghe, you let me go. Lo Binghe gripped the globes of his rear. The globes of his rear! Okay. Globetrotter he is. Kneaded them once, twice, then... You can imagine what he did next. Shizhen, now you're crying for me to let you go, he said with a wicked laugh. Back then, did you ever think this day would come? Shen Jingqiu sobbed and sobbed. It won't fit! Okay, super descriptive paragraph about just how big Binghe is. Lo Binghe felt some sympathy for him, but he soon remembered how Shen Jingqiu had abandoned him, and his hatred rose yet again. Cold and merciless, he's doing it. But for some reason, it felt different. Shen Jingqiu's breath was hitching in gasps, but it was also painful. And his hands were tied. And he could not escape, even as he twisted and struggled. Shen Jingqiu couldn't speak. Holy shit, what the motherfuck is this? Who the fuck was this guy crying like raindrops on a flower petal, and who was Mr. Tall, Dark, and Deadly? The one who cried the most every time they got in bed was Lo Binghe, okay? That's so funny. He looked at the author's name, Sleeping Willowflower. The name alone made him sound like some sort of scoundrel. He had to be the same sort of person as airplanes shooting towards the sky. After Lo Binghe finished reading, he said, After Lo Binghe finished reading, he said, As for this disciple, he never could have forced you like this. If Shizhen merely furrowed his brow, this disciple wouldn't have been able to continue. How could I let Shizhen sob like this, yet not stop? The depiction here is a bit unrealistic. Not only was it unrealistic, it was OOC. Completely OOC. OOC all the way off the map. The fucking Regret of Chunshan was basically trashy RPF porn fanfic that was OOC to the heavens, yet it had somehow become so popular. No wonder he always heard girls say, the trashier a work, the more easily it becomes a niche hit. But that wasn't the main point. Shen Jingqiu cursed the author of this porn book and porn ballad to be unable to get it up for the rest of his life. Single dog. It'd serve him right to have to jerk it to the end of his days. To jerk it until he died, forever unable to find a wife. Why is Shizhen's face going all red and white? Asked Lo Binghe. The latter parts are even more tempestuous and thrilling. They're worthy of both cheers and applause. In truth, I revered Shizhen's body like a holy object in those 5 years and never dared to sully it in the slightest. But this is just a little booklet circulating in the streets. It can't hurt to read and laugh at such fantastical takes. I love that Binghe's taking it in stride. I love that Binghe thinks it's fucking hilarious. He's like, let's get it clear, I was not a creep. Let's get it clear, I would never force you. But let's also get it clear, this is fucking hilarious. Shen Jingqiu eyed the title of this part. Regret of Chunshan, Part 47. 5 Years of Empty Waiting. His balls were gonna shatter all over the ground. No, 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 this title! He wouldn't even get near enough to pass the gates into this brave new world. It didn't need to be this kinky, did it? But reality would prove that Shen Jingqiu had underestimated the depth of the author of Regret of Chunshan. The depths the author Regret of Chunshan was willing to plumb. The candlelight flickered. Even if Shen Jingqiu was insensate, his brows were dark and his lips were red, his entire person died with a flush of spring. Lo Binghe looped Shen Jingqiu's nerveless arms around his own neck before he went to kiss him, to make it look as if Shen Jingqiu had woken up and was hooking his arms around Lo Binghe's neck to return the kiss. Oh my god! The curtains hung to the floor, swaying without a breeze. Amidst a desperate entanglement, tousled clothes rustled to the ground. Lo Binghe's low, gasping breaths could be heard from behind the swaying gauze. Shen Jingqiu is lifeless. He's locked within Lo Binghe's embrace by the firm grip of his arms. The two pearls on his chest. Nipples being described as pearls. They were suckled upon, let's just say that much. Until until they were like a pair of small ripe fruits. Damn. His rear was covered with green and purple handprints. And, you know, there was a lot of other things that made you think he was ran through. And it was messy. Quinn Silva says, let's take a moment to remember that Qianlin Jun has read these books. Oh my god, you're right. Thank you for your donation, too. Wow, I can't believe MXTX wrote necrophilia fanfic of her own characters. Shen Jingqiu was going to cry. This wasn't even out of the question. This was practically a challenge to basic values and the limits of morality. And he'd heard Mpreg novels were very popular on Green JJ. Heavens protect me. Please don't let Regret of Chunshan have a pregnancy arc too, thank you. As the pages slipped by, he would yet be struck by lightning from the heavens. Regret of Chunshan, part 555. Heavenly Demons' Nefarious Blood. They were pressed chest to chest. Lo Binghe could feel the tender, supple skin of the person in his arms. It was moist and glowing as they soaked in the mountain spring. Miss Rosie, thank you for your donation. For the upcoming hilarious interpretation you will be doing. Oh, brother. Thank you. And Orion, thank you for your donation. Scum Villain is peak literature. Yeah, this is what people think Scum Villain is like. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. Without a word, he embraced Shen Jingqiu and leaned down to kiss him deeply, sometimes biting his lips and lightly tugging, sometimes plunging his tongue inside to brashly tangled with his. Though Shen Jingqiu was unwilling, the heavenly demon's blood stirred within his stomach, and his entire body went weak. In addition, he was being kissed until he couldn't breathe, and his chest was rising up and down in uneven intervals, and his nipples brushed against Lo Binghe's muscles. They slowly hardened. Without his notice, his legs had been pried open, and Lo Binghe... Ding, ding, ding! Though they had been entangled from dusk till dawn for a while now, and Shen Jingqiu had grown used to Lo Binghe's enormous length, this sudden... Oh, it was extremely uncomfortable, especially when that... Oh, I hate that word so much. Oh, God. And you know, they were doing it in the water, so there was the water... And there was liquid going inside him at all angles, pretty much. The legs hanging from both sides of Lo Binghe's waist squeezed him tight. Yep. And Lo Binghe was so thrilled. He was kneading Shen Jingqiu's bottom to make him relax. And adjusted his position. Not long afterwards, Shen Jingqiu caught his breath and scolded through tears, "Get out!" Lo Binghe smiled. "Shizhen chides me so, but his body seems to disagree." Shen Jingqiu clenched his teeth, unwilling to give in. "If you hadn't fed me that poison blood, how could I be so tormented by an ingrate like you?" Under the control of heavenly demon's blood, the only option left to him was to obediently let Binghe have his way. Oh, yep. Shen Jingzhou's breaths came in gasps on the brink of sobs, and after a particularly hard thrust, his lips drew tight, low whines seeping out from his nose. Lo Binghe had one arm under his bottom, keeping their hips tightly interlocked, and his other hand blithely smacked Shen Jingzhou's round, snow-white cheeks once with every thrust. Shen Jingzhou was overcome with humiliation. Lo Binghe didn't let him rest for long after that round and carried him out of the spring. Once Shen Jingzhou left the water... his limbs, everything tightened, beset by the cold air. Lo Binghe set him down like a sacrifice on an altar, bare, on a nearby chunk of limestone. There he drew him into an interlocked embrace below the open sky. The limestone was ice cold, and Shen Jingzhou began to squirm as soon as he was set down. His skin was fair and pale, and after that vigorous round of lovemaking and the warmth of the spring, his entire body was flushed a bewitching pink. Black eyes, painted like stars, swelled with dewy ripples as their focus blurred, tired and drowsy, his spirit like dying embers. He turned his head, refusing to look straight at his traitorous disciple, Lo Binghe. Lo Binghe got between his legs again, let's just say that much. And he's doing it again. And that my favorite word is used again and again. And again and again. And yep. Jeez. The word fleshy is used to describe both things. It's used a lot. Yep. Binghe is fleshy and Shen Jingzhou is fleshy. It's a fleshy experience. Fleshy? I feel like the word fleshy should only be used when describing a wound. Ugh. Or that's how my experience of knowing the word. So when I read it in like a scenario like this, I'm like, ugh. Okay. Shen Jingzhou had nothing to say. Drugging, non-con, force, what a marvelous buffet. This author was having a lot of fun, weren't they? Actually, I never imagined that heavenly demon's blood could be used in such a way, said Lo Binghe. Shen Jingzhou was silent. After bearing witness to the depths of the original proud immortal demon way's depravity, it wasn't as if he had never thought of it. He just never expected that one day this usage would be applied to him. My eyes have been opened, said Shen Jingzhou. Lo Binghe nodded. My eyes have been opened. And he continued, so this disciple can't have his eyes opened for nothing, can he? Lo Binghe, even though this master has allowed you to... I never allowed you all this variety, Shen Jingzhou said in a warning tone. Lo Binghe startled. Oh, this disciple understands. He looked a bit disappointed, but he didn't push the issue. Now Shen Jingzhou was the one feeling uneasy. Lo Binghe had never made any requests of him when it came to these matters. Because of his lackluster skill, he was always cautious to the extreme, and he even somehow capitulated to Shen Jingzhou. Now he had finally acquired some instructional materials and found a bit of self-confidence, hoping to try them out together, only for Shen Jingzhou to toss a basin of cold water over his head. Tell me, Binghe, what part of that sounded like I was enjoying that? Binghe reading smut. I'm studying. Shen Jingzhou squirmed in his seat. After a while, he finally picked up his fan to cover his face and said with some reserve, how do you want to do it? Stop! Oh my god! Girl! No! Shen Jingzhou fucking matches his freak, man! Shen Jingzhou's like, absolutely not. Okay, maybe. Oh my god. All at once, Lo Binghe came alive like a flower blooming in the warmth of spring. Shen Jingzhou was inwardly pleased by this, and he told himself he might as well forsake his poor face and play along. They had already done it either way. What did he need face for? Just to be safe, he forced himself to pick up Regret of Chunshan and flip through it rapidly, even as a vein jumped in his forehead. But he didn't find any positions or techniques that seemed too illogical, and so relaxed a little bit. Bro, Shen Qingqiu is reading this crazy-ass fucking fanfic and is literally being like, I'd let him hit it like that. Nothing seems too crazy. Oh, man. Good for him. Good for him. Good for him. Only to turn around and see Lo Binghe walking towards him, all smiles, as he earnestly held up an even thicker booklet. Shizun, why are you looking at that one? Shen Qingqiu had no words. The cover of the booklet Lo Binghe was holding indicated it was the promising newcomer that held the honor of being a target of aggressive restriction alongside Regret of Chunshan's Song of Bingqiu. Its author was listed as the Three Holy Mothers. This one has even more to teach, and it's far more detailed, said Lo Binghe. It doesn't take long to get the hang of putting it into practice either. This disciple brewed a jar of flower wine according to instructions. Shall we see whether its effect is as described? Looks to me like it has even lower depths to plum. Shen Qingqiu knew that under no circumstances was this jar of wine meant for drinking. Oh my god. Is this how this happens? They literally read a fanfic and they're like, this could be hot, want to try it? Okay. That's fucking hilarious. They just seem like two dumb, bored guys. It's like, I don't know, how do you want to do it? I don't know, I read this, sounds kind of fun. Okay. It is cute. Oh my god. Wait a minute. The props were all prepared. Had Lo Binghe just been putting on a pitiful act to mess with him? Lo Binghe pulled Shen Qingqiu's hips up, leaving his rear pointed high as his back arched into the limber curve, his back towards Lo Binghe. This was the condition Shen Qingqiu had set for accepting his request. If Lo Binghe insisted on trying something from the book, he would do it from behind, or else Shen Qingqiu really wouldn't be able to hang on to his easily wounded dignity. Though Lo Binghe was eternally obsessed with fucking Shizun face to face. He was impatient to put what he had learned into practice, and he had learned from this booklet that the person on the bottom could more easily feel pleasure if they did it from behind. So he happily agreed. Shen Qingqiu's like, finally! I've been trying to say this forever. He picked up that jar of rare, fine wine, pressed its long, skinny neck to... He just put it in! He put it in! I mean, look up the diameter of a fucking wine. It's a lot less than an 8-ball. And it was easy. It was so easy. And the wine poured in. And, he grabbed the blankets at the sensation. What? I don't think that's how this works. He can feel the wine going into himself. Okay. Okay, and then Shen Qingqiu says that's enough, and Lo Binghe obediently stopped, but he kept the wine bottle inside him. The wine was refreshing at first, but its delayed effects were strong. Soon, Shen Qingqiu's insides began to burn fiery hot. Unable to relieve himself of this painful itching sensation, he shifted his arms to crawl forward slightly. Okay, so it's like an aphrodisiac? He like basically poured like an aphrodisiac wine in him? He shifted his arms to crawl forward slightly. This time, Lo Binghe didn't stop him. The mouth of the jar slid out. And then Shen Qingqiu didn't know what to do. This sentence is just written so comically. Oh my god. Wait, it is. Thank you for gifting a membership ceremony. This is so funny because it's like, it's literally like, what would you do in this situation? It's like, okay, it's in me. And then he pulls it out. And then Shen Qingqiu's like, it's gonna come out. Like, what do I do? That would just be so fucking awkward. So he's just like, he's basically like, what the fuck do I do? Okay, Binghe drapes himself over Shen Qingqiu and gnaws on the smooth skin of his shoulder. And Binghe is teasing him. And Shen Qingqiu is like, okay, looks like he really did learn a lot from that damned little booklet. Shen Qingqiu couldn't take this teasing. His hands twisted in the sheets beneath him and sweat rose all over his body. Binghe's like touching his chest. He's like teasing him from behind. Okay. And then he goes for it. Shen Qingqiu immediately goes limp. His arms failed to support the weight of his upper body. And oh, thank God Binghe's so big so that the wine was sealed securely inside. There we go. And he says it still hurt because he was so big, but amidst the pain, something seemed to be different. The wine lit his insides on fire. Okay. Okay. And there's a lot of extra sounds. And he's very embarrassed. But okay, there's a tingling sensation. And an ache from deep within him. And oh! Okay, so he's like, he's on like a new level of like needing Binghe. It's like a new level. He's like, I need it. I need you to do it hard and fast. And like Binghe's like not hitting it right. And so Shen Qingqiu's like, he's like trying to make him hit it right. And then Binghe says, Shizen, does it feel good? Am I doing well? Oh my god. Oh my god. And there's a lot of liquid sloshing around. He's clinging to the blankets. And Binghe's like, does it feel good? Does it feel good or doesn't it? Oh my god, Binghe is so funny. Biddy Becca, thank you for your donation. Thank you for your hilarious summaries. I'm literally laughing so hard I'm in tears. I'm glad you're enjoying this. I'm glad you're enjoying this. Thank you for your donation. I literally love, does it feel good or doesn't it? Shen Qingqiu mumbled something. Lo Binghe couldn't make it out, so he leaned down to hear him, sending that going in. Shen Qingqiu's tailbone ached. He gasped. Face. Thank you, Diana Williams, for gifting a membership. The burn of the wine had made Shen Qingqiu red all over, as if his entire self had been steamed in liquor. Even his breath took on a refreshing flavor. Lo Binghe was tempted to lean in and kiss him at an angle, tongue searching inside his mouth, and found that even his saliva carried the heady fragrance of wine. Shizen, he said, do you want to see my face? Shen Qingqiu nodded near imperceptibly. You better be sure. It was on Shizen's request that we're doing it from behind. If you want to be face to face now, I'm afraid it won't be so easy to turn back. Oh my god. Oh my god, he wants to see his face. Oh, Binghe's so happy. His low, hoarse voice puffed warm breath into Shen Qingqiu's ear. Shen Qingqiu's head spun, and he dazedly... Lo Binghe abruptly flipped him over into the powerless position of lying face up. A pink flush clouded Shen Qingqiu's pale cheeks. His eyes and the tip of his nose were especially red, and some tears hung from the ends of his eyelashes. Lo Binghe kissed each of them, one by one, the fingers of one hand tenderly circling the soft outer rim. Hey, that wasn't his cheeks. his other cheeks. He said lightly, "Shizun, look." He guided Shen Qingqiu's chin. As soon as Shen Qingqiu looked down, he saw the mess of wine. Oh my god, this is the most disgusting way to describe this. Why would you write that? Is that... What I just read is so unsexy. It's so unsexy. I'm like, does somebody has to find that sexy though, right? Do you know the song Bloom by Troye Sivan? This is what that song is about. This is his chrysanthemum garden. It's basically like a bit of the inside bloomed into a flower on the outside. Beautifully, though. It's just a little bit, like a beautiful flower, okay? Just a little ring of petals. Cup noodles, thank you for your donation. Oh my god. I think it's just to show, it's like, look, you've bloomed for me. Again, it burned like fire. Shen Qingqiu couldn't manage to speak, and he subconsciously lifted an arm to cover his eyes. Lo Binghe gave him a few comforting kisses on his cheek, and then went at it again. Shen Qingqiu's black hair was splayed everywhere across the bed, fingers powerlessly sinking into the taut muscles of Lo Binghe's back, his neck arched. After another round of vigorous, you-know-what, and there's no more wine. The wine is more or less entirely gone. And, oh, okay, like, every part of him that, like, had the wine in it is, like, it's all super flexible now. It's just like a magical danmei aphrodisiac, okay? And Shen Qingqiu's got this, like, drunken look on his face. Shen Qingqiu was truly intoxicated. The fragrance of alcohol drifted through the air, going to their heads. But before he sank too deep as to lose consciousness, Lo Binghe woke him up. He put an arm beneath Shen Qingqiu's hips and stood up from the bed. And, oh, that hit the spot! His heart was nearly thrust right up into his throat, like, whoa! Okay, standing up might have been a lot. Oh, it somehow got bigger. What? How can it furiously grow? Okay, so, Binghe picked him up, and because of the change in position, Chen Qingqiu was like, oh shit, oh my god, but then that being like, oh my god, just made Binghe get even bigger, and then he's like, oh my god! And then, Binghe, but the scariest part was still to come. Lo Binghe began to walk. And with every step, it was jostling about. Okay. Okay. Ew. That's a disgusting way to describe that. It's so deep. It's so deep, he's gonna throw up. He really couldn't take it anymore. He gasped out in fits. Wait a minute. It's too deep. Binghe, put me down. Binghe nibbled on his earlobe and mumbled through slightly heavy breaths. Shizen, it's not deep enough. Still not enough. How deep do you want? Chen Qingqiu groaned. Where else are you trying to go? Ah! Oh my god! Oh my god, that's so funny. Just what else do you want? Hello, throat. Holy crap, that's so funny. Okay, Binghe's tired of standing up and doing it, so he puts him down on the table. And oh, okay. He's what position are they in? Oh, he's like face down on the table. Okay. Nice. He was at his limit. And Binghe's still holding the whole world in his hands, if you catch my drift. Oh my god! Binghe's like gone so crazy mad with power. He's like got his ass, and he's this sentence is so funny. So he could experience the overwhelming pleasure of being squeezed by hole and ass all at once. He is not half-assing it, he is whole-assing it. Oh my god. Chen Qingqiu felt more tormented than ever. Not to mention how he was being kneaded and slapped in a way that didn't hurt, but was extremely humiliating. Not long afterward, Lo Binghe switched techniques again. Okay, so he's switching up the tempo. It's a little... Chen Qingqiu felt he was on the verge of insanity, but was locked in place, unable to move an inch. Forced to take everything Binghe gave him. Lo Binghe truly deserved the title of star student. He could overwhelm someone simply by copying from the lesson materials. Chen Qingqiu wanted to weep, but couldn't find the tears, and he could only weakly whimper. What exactly did you read? And that's the end of that chapter. So, okay, that's actually so funny. And that whole chapter, I think, was just like MXTX needing to give insane proof that Binghe is good at sex now because he read fanfiction. And Shenxing Cho is like, holy shit. He's like a sex master now. This is crazy. That was not what I expected at all. That was a lot better than I expected, and that was a lot less freaky than I expected. Oh, Kate, not the ranch hole. The wine chapter is not even that crazy. I truly wonder if half the people that talk about the wine chapter have even read it. There's almost an identical scene in Arha. June says it's not that crazy because they're so normal about it. They are so, it's like if you truly read this as they are just two dumb boys who really like each other and now really like having sex with each other and also like love each other deeply and care for each other so much. Like that's exactly what it is. There's nothing more complicated to their relationship than that anymore. That's so funny. The fact that Shenxing Cho was like, absolutely not. Okay, fine. How do you want to do it? Oh my god. That's hilarious. Kate says, I knew you would normalize the wine extra. That's so funny. Leandra says, that wasn't crazy to you? What do you classify as crazy? I mean, like, when you really think about it, it's like they just used an aphrodisiac, I suppose. It's kind of funny because it was, like, a wine, but the fact that it was, like, so much smaller than Binghe's dick and was, like, not an issue at all was just so funny. Oh my god, Meeps, thank you for gifting memberships. Oh my god, I just saw that now. Thank you so much, Meeps. Thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Dr. Sprout says, I think you forgot the prolapse way too fast. You know, I think it's because it was honestly described like it was something that could be so normal. Like, they were not scared about it. If they were scared about it, I would be like, oh my god, that was horrifying. They were like, oh my god, look, Shizen, you're ballooned for me. I am not into that. There was no part of me that found that titillating. I thought it was funny. Because I didn't know what Bing Cho's dynamic was going to be like once they're post-canon, I thought it was going to be more of Binghe dominating him and more of like the fanfic vibe of Shenxing Cho kind of being like, oh, I don't know if I'm into this. But it really was not that vibe. It was really like, okay, let's fucking see what happens. Okay, you know, I'm into it. If you're into it, okay. And I feel like that puts the reader at ease. Like, I don't like reading the non-con scenes. I definitely had too many preconceived ideas about the chapter. Lily Kep. 50 Shades of Grey. Meat pun smut is like a fine wine. Yes, it is. It's different for sure. Couscous says, literally, part of the fandom makes it out like Bing Cho and Scum Villain are like the Bing Cho and Regret of Chun Shen. Yeah, they're totally different. Quinn Silva, thank you for your donation. Everything is chill after you read Meat Bun Smut. Yes. Yeah. I think that MXTX uses some words when describing sex scenes that perhaps are not usually used by Western audiences. And I know I've like chatted with the translators like about this and how like certain turns of phrases and stuff just are not used in Western writing to describe sex. And so there's like a difficulty because it can kind of come across as like gross. Whereas like it wouldn't be coming across as gross. You know what I mean? Like I remember the translators talking about like apparently like wetness is a way to describe things being like really sexy, and like of course like we get that with like straight stuff, of course, but sometimes it's like, oh my god, okay, it's the squelching is a lot too much, so you know. But in Chinese maybe that wouldn't come across as like, okay, there's a lot of squelching, that's enough squelching. It's like, no, that's, you gotta describe how wet it is to get across how sexy this scene is, you know what I mean? The wetness will find a way. Welcome to the swamp, I guess. Yeah, there's just fluids. There's fluids. Sometimes it's magical, sometimes it's, I think Meat Bun used the word digestional fluids. Yep. At least there was no blood this time. Hi, JT Joyful! Bean, thank you for being a member for 6 months. Always forget about milestones, but also you reenacting this with, oh my god, Shiz, and you bloomed for me, and doing a hair tuck behind your ear is wild. Listen, if I don't make jokes, I'll cry. Yeah, couscous, totally. It's like, I'm very aware that it's in a fictional realm where these guys can't basically get injured. Like, no injury is serious to them either. So that puts a different perspective on what would be seen as, like, scary or gross, too. Miss Rosie says, your interpretation and reactions were completely worth it. I feel like Western audiences could read this, and the interpretation, the most faithful interpretation, would be that Bing-he is now a sex pro, and he's read every kinky thing under the sun. And so if you want to go forth and write your own fan fiction about Bing-he, he better be good at what he's doing, because he can study up, unless you want to do it pre him reading the books, because it's a canon event that he is now good at sex. Emmy, thank you for gifting a membership. Thank you so much. Natasia says, would you say that you didn't know whether to laugh or cry? Spark Major says, I mean, once he learns something, he's practically perfect at it. Yep. The perks of being a stallion protagonist. Who's better, Hua Chung or Binghe? We didn't get to see Hua Chung. I feel like on pure sexiness alone, Hua Chung is sexier, but Shen Qingqiu gets off on the way Binghe is. Winter Borealis says, I joined late, but you had me laughing so hard. Oh, I'm glad. Truly, if you don't read the SCUM Villain extras, that's crazy. I think some of the best scenes are in the extras. Hell yeah, Hua Chung's the best. I think MXTX is really good at writing couples that just like each other. It's like they match each other's freak, and you can feel safe that they like each other. I think Shen Qingqiu likes... It's so hard not to compare this to Arha, because, like, Binghe is like Taexian Jun, and, like, Shen Qingqiu is, like, he gets turned on by, like, the confidence and, like, the know-how that Binghe had, right? So, but now that Bingmei has this confidence and know-how, I think it's like they're super compatible in bed. Because Shen Qingqiu, I think, was looking for more of that, like, a bit more of a domineering presence, I guess. And now he can get that. Learning curve, learning pillar. Curves to the left. Visual J, thank you for gifting a membership. I feel like based on the level of experience, if it was like we're strangers hooking up at a club, Binghe would hit it better, but Bingmei has the, like, emotional, romantic, and, like, loving connection with Shen Qingqiu, and he's learning. So. Oh, man. I can't wait to read Morazushi and sum up the sex scenes in that one for you guys. You could say this was a true fine wine and dine experience we witnessed. Oh, man. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Fleshy. Yep. Is there only one chapter left? Visual J, thank you for your donation. Visual J says, SCUM Villain is supposed to be about satire and trope subversion. It's meant to make fun of the genre. It would never be the OTT beautiful first time sex like another danmei. That's just not how IRL, that's not how it is IRL. I love that. Yeah, they're trying shit out. They're trying shit out together, and you can tell they're having a good time while they are figuring stuff out together. And I just catch like their vibe so easily. I love it. You can just tell that they are so into each other. And I love it after a whole book of misunderstandings and I'm not gay, you know. The next chapter is honeymoon. And then there's wedding. Isn't that backwards? Oh, 3 chapters left. Honeymoon. 100 random questions on Luo Shen's affinity. And then wedding. Got it. Okay. Well, okay. I could potentially read more tomorrow at 5. Kate says Luo Shen should be Liu Shen. Should we do tomorrow? Scum streak. Okay, sounds good. We'll do it tomorrow at 5. Okay, thank you guys. I'm gonna go watch Jeopardy and have dinner with my family after reading that. Okay. Goodbye.